Folks, are you tired of people telling you your band is too darn loud when you're just trying to practice in your house or garage? Well, if you live in Austin, I have the solution for you. That's Space Rehearsal and Recording. Space is a state-of-the-art affordable venue for rehearsal and recording, located just a few short miles south of downtown Austin. They have 31 spacious rooms, great PAs, fantastic courteous staff. They have everything you need to get your artistic business together at Space. Find them at 512-448-9518 or go to spaceatx.com and start playing as loud as you want in Space Rehearsal and Recording. Let's get down. Hey gang, are you new to this podcast? Have you subscribed on Spotify, Stitcher, or Apple Podcasts and realized that you can only access the 20 most recent shows on these platforms? Do you, my friend, want to binge on How Did I Get Here? Well, check out our archives that are available on the Podbean app. If you follow us on the Podbean app, we have every single show ever released on that platform. You'll also get all of your favorite shows like Fresh Air, WTF with Mark Maron, ID10T, the Michelle Obama podcast. All podcasts available there, and you can also access over 1,000 How Did I Get Here episodes. So, download the Podbean app from your app store and start listening today. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here are your hosts.
All right, hello, I'm Johnny, I'm your host, and welcome to the show. I hope you guys are all having a good week. It's been a nice week here in Austin. I've had a good week. It's my cousin Megan's birthday, going to dinner with my cousins, my girl tonight, introducing the girl to the family for the first time. Should be interesting. Should be fun, right? Gang, I have a great show for you today. Los Angeles duo PIERA Klein and Micah Pilsner, better known as PIERA, just dropped their first debut self-titled album earlier this week. So, or at the end of last week, sorry. It's out though. It's called PIERA. You can find it at pieramusic.net. I talked to them a couple weeks ago, and they live in Los Angeles, and we really hit it off, man. These two have had individually this really interesting, like, show business life story. Micah, the kind of like music dude, comes from New York and came up in the punk scene and moved to LA for the punk scene. PIERA, she sang on like a children's album when she was like 7 years old, and she played in local bands in junior high, and they both had this really interesting sort of background, and they have this amazing style to them that matches their music perfectly, and their music's really great, man. It's very electronic. But anyway, if you live in Austin and you don't know of PIERA, I'm going to introduce you to two really, really cool people that I think I'm actually friends with now. We exchanged information and we vowed to stay in touch. So I hope you enjoy my conversation with PIERA Klein and Micah Pilsner, better known as PIERA. Check it out. Let's get down. It's nice to meet you guys. I'm Johnny, and welcome to the show. I love your album. I really, really do. You guys.
Oh my.
Yeah, you guys are incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That means a lot.
Thank you. Your video for the Unraveling is really beautiful, and I know that's kind of what they were reaching out about. But I dug into your album, and I read about you guys individually. You both have such, you guys are like show business art. You know what I mean? Like both of them. It's like you walk the line of being like the artist.
That's very astute. We are trying to, I would say, take that mainstream, cheesy, kind of thing, and bring real artists out there, and try to create that kind of, that lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it gets so swallowed up by the money and the, and all the promotion.
The industry is pretty intense in like the direction they go in. And we just wanted to take the liberty, since we're independent, to just create art we love.
Yeah.
And music that we love that comes from like a really personal place. And we just found that our like musical collaboration is just really easy for us. So that's kind of how the whole thing started. And we just let it see what it evolved into. But it's really fun to be able to really be free in who you are in your creativity, because the commercial world is just very, it's packaged. They know the algorithms, believe it or not. It's not all, you know what I mean? It's like a business,
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
They definitely know what they're doing, and I have a lot of respect.
Yeah.
We're kind of
it's a business.
We're left of center over here.
It's a business. For us, it's an art.
Yeah.
Right. But it can also be a business. But I noticed something about you, Micah, that you and I have something in common, that you went into the major label world and you were like, I don't like this, and you left. Yeah. I did the exact same thing. Like, I left my label and was like, I don't care about this.
Yeah, I think it was at the PR meeting.
Yeah.
When I went to the PR company and they told me how things were going to go, I think I had like a panic attack, and I had to talk to who was the chairman and at the time, and say, listen, I think you got the wrong guy here.
Yeah.
I know talent wise you can see this happening.
Right. Yeah.
I'm a cute Jewish boy then, and I was But I was into punk rock. I was into underground music. I was just listening to the Cramps and all that whole 81 to 83 school kind of punk rock and a lot of avant-garde and stuff like that. So when I got signed, I thought, are they going to kind of go my way? You know what I mean? A little bit. Maybe we can find that. Maybe we can find that sweet spot. But you sign a contract and really you're working for them. That's just how.
Did you read that book about that scene? A really good friend of mine wrote this book. This guy Tom DeSavia. He wrote this book with John Doe. I'm drawing a blank on it. He actually wrote a second part of it too, but it's all about that 81 to 83 scene with like X and
X and Blasters and
everyone. Yeah.
And then even that was my family of people, and I played in those days and so on. And so, it was a really important time. And plus, because everybody was not only just, the great thing about that time was there was definitely that we want to have a lot of fun, you know what I mean? But there's also this very sophisticated literature-like level of lyrical and philosophy going on at the same time. John Doe was looking like John Doe. Exene was looking like Billy's. You got this sense that there was like fun going on at the same time. I thought that combination of those things was just unbelievable.
Yeah. How did you guys meet? How did you two meet?
Actually, a friend introduced us because I was just starting to make my way into music, and she'd met Micah and said, you guys need to connect. I have a feeling you guys would like really vibe, and you guys should connect. He's in music, you're in music. I think you have like a similar vibe. And so, and then it was like we met and the conversation just never ended, and music and
Yeah. Vibe is a great word to use. Your music has so much fucking vibe, dude. Like, it is amazing. And when I say dude, I mean both of you.
Yeah. No, we understand dude is
plural.
It's not binary.
In this,
non-binary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you guys got together.
Yeah.
What's that?
I use the pronoun dude, yeah.
Yeah, good. Also, PIERA, is that your house? Or you both live there? Or
yeah. This is the loft, and we're in downtown LA.
I have to tell you, it looks like your music sounds like of the future.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very like futuristic and I don't know, kind of trippy.
Futuristic meets an asylum.
Yes, meets space.
meets like, there must be a straight jacket somewhere, the walls are hard though in this place.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So
I'm from New York City. I'm very sarcastic.
I like that. So that's interesting too that you both came together. You're from both coasts, and does any of that inform sort of like? Is there like sunshine in your musical history, PIERA? Like that, like the Beach Boys versus the Ramones or something? You know what I mean?
Definitely, I would say that we have different starting points, but we ended up kind of like on the same page. But I was very into I come from a totally different background. Like I was super into like space jazz. I remember when like Air first came out.
Oh yeah.
Zero, and a lot of that indie trip pop kind of jazzy stuff, and I loved folk music and a lot of the 90s grunge and just the 90s era in general of like rock. I was, just a big fan of all the stuff that was going on then. And also I loved electronic music always. I mean, whether it's like Goldfrapp or
oh yeah.
I think
oh yeah, I was just thinking kind of like that style, and then you with your background, and you introduced me to a lot of new music, and I introduced you to some music that you hadn't heard, and so there was this like real like exchange of, oh my gosh, you don't know who this is, you haven't heard this, and then like, oh my god, this is crazy, and we really kind of opened up new worlds and new portals for each other.
I think what was interesting was I was so good at that thing that I do, and she was so good at that other thing, the more ambient, the more maybe space jazz sort of stuff. And she was so good and trustworthy that, she'd come up with something. There was really rarely a time when I would, say, oh, I don't like that. Right. It was always good. And then I would add kind of my, kind of that, I guess, East Coast, more edgy kind of sound to it. And that's kind of really what's going on. There's just a whole lot, and I also use a lot of modular synths and a lot of things to make a lot of ambient effects on top of it. So
you really added like the edge and like the kind of like the real deep psychedelic edginess, and it's just like the crazy stuff that you do, and then I kind of added that like soft, melancholic kind of, and
then those vocals that just kind of
drown the vocal,
the vocals that you just can't are like perfect. I mean, it was.
And I definitely add weirdness, a good weirdness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
well, there's like this. There's this like level of style, like a Bowie level of style to your trip.
Yeah,
which is pretty amazing.
It'd be hard for that not to be an influence.
Yeah, but I just mean like it seems as important to you as it was to him,
Oh, I feel you.
Like it's all one big package.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people like, every music comes from a different place for anybody. It's always like, from what you love and stuff. But I feel like we really wanted to create not just music and entertainment, but an experience. And I think an experience is something that, like watching an art film or listening to a certain kind of music. Some of it is more experiential, where you kind of just want to like tune in and listen and zone out. And some stuff is just more like sing along, depends on what you're into. But I think for us, we wanted to create an entire world, like a world of sound, a cosmic soundscape, have it be modern, but kind of timeless at the same time. And just kind of stick to those really pure, like humanistic, I don't know, just themes. Themes, like just kind of those like heart themes that we all experience.
Just something that can touch people, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, I could always make music. If you're going on stage, and then all of a sudden you have a connection with people that you're making. And so, I think there was a sense of like, we want to make, that kind of artistic and that kind of avant, maybe experimental kind of sound in a format that was accessible to people that weren't as deeply into that kind of a thing as us, but could go, whoa, that's interesting, or you know what I mean? And like new sounds. I mean, we were definitely going for something new, something, a genre that doesn't have a name, and not like, oh, we have to do that. It just seemed like we just wanted to do what we wanted to do, and we didn't want to.
Yeah, just being true to who we are. We're both kind of out of the box in our own way. And then when we came together, it was like, well, I don't even know what we call this, but we love it, and let's just keep it going and see what happens. Put it out in the world and the universe, and let somebody else tell us what they want to call it.
Let's what they call it. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to get because definitely in electronic music, people are really subgenre, specific.
Dude, in everything now, like I don't even know what anything's called anymore. You know what? I don't know what kind of music anybody's playing.
I mean, neither do I. I can't keep up with it. They're you add one kick drum and all of a sudden it's a new genre. I mean, it's I don't get it.
It's funny. Even country music is like that. I mean, I'm not a particularly huge fan of what they're doing now, but like when you hear it, you're like, it's like Def Leppard and Jay-Z, and then some weird guy singing with like a banjo through a phaser like that. I've heard some weird shit on those songs.
Well, they're trying to keep relevant. I mean, it's not the most powerful market, and they're trying to keep up with the kind of.
I have no idea what they're trying to do. I think everybody's just on their own trip.
When I was briefly, when I was working forever as a producer, and I get country jobs, and I'm telling you, producing the guitars was exactly the same as producing, like an 80s rock.
Right.
There's just no difference. You'd have to go to the 80s and get that sound to get the country sound.
Right. So
at that time.
Did you have your own studio, your own space? What are you still doing that?
Yeah, I'm still doing that, but I'm really just focusing on what happened was really quickly is, I started becoming a producer. Things started to heat up for me. I was working with, some big teams and stuff like that. And then I started to realize I hate this, I hate doing music or songs I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
There isn't that part of me. And I know other producers and they hate it too, but they say, hey, well, it's a job, But for me, it was it was like poison to my ears, and so I just had to stop and just focus on things that I really feel inspired by.
I did that same kind of thing. Like I'm like 52, and like in my mid 30s, I was like, I made a record on my own and like produced it, and from that I got one thing like, hey, will you do my record? And then like it started going, and it was really fun and it was really busy. And then I did this fucking record for money that I hated the person and I hated their music. And I felt so bad that I was like, I can only do this like when I really feel it.
Oh my God. And the politics that goes along with it. Oh my God.
I didn't have labels or anything. They were still kind of like local bands, but still it was a pain in the fucking ass.
Yeah, it is.
PIERA, hold on. There was something that I wanted to ask you specifically about.
Yeah.
What children's record did you sing on when you were 7?
It's really kind of funny. There was, back in the day before like there was Barney and all these like children's TV shows with sing-along songs, there was something called the Donut Man, and it was a character. Not all these kids singing all these songs, and it was just, like, it was really young. I was like, God, yeah, I was like 7. And I don't even know if it's still out there, but it was my first experience in a recording studio. It was somewhere in Van Nuys. I was in a group of maybe 7 or 8 kids, and, the control room, it was that really classic, recording studio situation. It wasn't like a home studio. And, it was really fun and it was easy for me. And I remember that was the first thing I ever got paid for in my entire life was, to do a record. And I didn't even probably know what money was when I was 7 years old. It was just being a little kid. But I realized, wow, that's fun. That's cool. That's easy. I like it. And I want to do more of that.
How did it happen though? Like, were your parents like trying to get you into it? Or
No, my parents were like the opposite of like show business parents. Like they were friends with a family the dad was the donut man. And they had,
I just love
they
that
were
name,
like,
the
hey,
Donut Man.
you like, do you want PIERA to come and sing? And I've heard her sing. She's good. Let's throw her in the studio and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so I ended up doing several songs, but it was one of those just like happy little by chance things that happened. But for me, it kind of marked my life. You know, I didn't realize it at the time, but you know, later on, I was asked to go into the studio and sing on other people's things here and there. And then, about a decade ago, I sang on some stuff with an Emmy award-winning songwriting team that needed a singer for placements.
You mean like you'd sing on
like,
you'd sing on the song that they would pitch to an artist?
No, they were a team of songwriters that wrote for ABC's music library for all their TV shows.
Oh,
and so
awesome.
and they would like just hire different singers for different songs. And so I was scouted out. Someone reached out to Micah, and then he was like, actually, PIERA would be like great for that kind of a sound. And then I ended up doing like 10 songs, and all of them got placed. And you know, it wasn't like I made a lot of money, but it was definitely like, what? Like ABC is placing me and I'm on all these TV shows. And like, it kind of brought me back to that childhood thing of, wow, that was easy. That was fun. I can do this. And it really gave me that extra boost of self-confidence that, I should just really go for it because this is just so natural for me. I don't even really have to put that much effort into it. And I've always been like playing piano, guitar, writing my own songs anyways, garage banding it. Just like, it's just who I am. And then just, wow, you can do this you, like this could be a job, So, but I wanted to make art. I wasn't really like wanting to do TV music.
No, but the songwriter that called me is a really good friend of mine. And what she needed was exactly what PIERA was. And I said, listen, I don't want to push
kind of dreamy.
It was, and I said, I don't want to push this, on you because, it's my friend, but you're describing this because I'm a professional. So it's like, if I book somebody, it's got to get. It's not about.
It's not personal.
It's not personal. It's just like this is kind of. So it's like they nailed it, and then they had a relationship that lasted like forever. She did so much with them and like even ABC TV was asking for more of her out of all the other singers that they have. Or did you say that already? Or?
Yeah, I started out with like 3 songs, and then it was like, could we do another session a few, months later, and then again, and then they like, put it out on iTunes. I was like, this is so weird. Like,
but the television station is saying, who's that girl on that one? We want that one again. It was like that kind of thing.
It was fun. It was a really cool experience, and I'm very appreciative to that team of songwriters. And I realized how pivotal that was for me personally, because it just gave me that push, because, entertainment seems like magic to other people. Like, I don't know how you do what you do and there's no like real guidebook to do this. It's like, it's a combination of, talent meeting opportunity, meeting circumstance, and like luck sometimes, and just things working out. I know so many people that are trying so hard that are talented and I don't get those chances. So I'm incredibly grateful. And I'm feeling the gratitude.
But the love, the intense passion I have for music,
Yeah.
I mean, I'll go from one genre to, I was listening to Son House, to Claude Debussy the other day. What I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I love genius harmonies, you know what I'm saying? Or things and that's what it's all about for us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's this thing we got to do where we got to go and succeed at doing it. You know what I mean? So but first, I just feel the content is just really has to be, extremely compelling.
Yeah.
Or for all artists. I mean, I'm not just talking about myself. I mean, I have friends we know and we're in awe of them. They're great.
Yeah.
I mean, and I like to see that kind of community start to rise up and start to break through a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really all about like community at the end of the day.
I'm working
It's
on
exactly what it's about.
You know, you don't just put things out into the void. It's going to someone somewhere, and you know, and you want to feel connected. It's so much about connection for me. It's amazing. You know, even writing and just themes or anything like that. I just feel like music is people, and people are music.
Yeah. Yeah, I get amazed sometime, even though I know how the sausage is made, and I've done this like since I was 14, and like on a professional level since I was like 16. And so I'm still amazed. Like the other day I was walking around the trail and I was listening to something and I just got like goosebumps. You know what I mean? Sometimes you hear something and you start crying and you're like, what is this thing that like this combination of thing that opens my heart, and I'm still like connected to it in the same way that I was as a kid, you know?
I think it's got a spiritual element, to be really honest.
It does.
I just think that music and the spirit world are very connected. There's kind of this eternal...
It's a mystical thing.
It's a mystical experience. And I mean, it's timeless. People that have passed can still touch and open your heart that aren't with us anymore. And who knows, the music made today will be touching lives of people in the future. I think it's amazing.
Well, when somebody like a great, you know, artist, like I was listening to Mind Games by John Lennon the other day, you know?
Yeah, he was very good.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah. And I was listening to his lyrics, and he was being so vulnerable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was being so vulnerable and honest, and he was so articulate in his lyrics, and I was really feeling it.
Yeah.
You know, because he, you know, and I thought, you know, this is John Lennon, most successful singer in probably the history of the planet, one of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, and yet he's not that much different. You know, there's that spiritual connection, you know, of him being so, you know, genuinely human.
Genuinely human.
And to able to have the bravery to express that and not just, you know, put on
A show.
Exactly.
And I think that's the genius of people like Dylan and other great, Patti Smith and other great, you know, that vulnerability, that really vigorous honesty that they throw is really powerful.
That's a thing that I get from this the lyrical content of this record. Even though it's electronic music, there's still like so much humanity and real emotion and struggle in those lyrics from this.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
How do you guys share the lyric writing and melody writing, or is it split, or
song by song? I'd say, you know,
I feel like there's, you know, some songs that were like a true collaboration where we both came together and wrote lyrics. One of us started, the other person kind of helped fill in the blanks. And then there's some songs that were really me and some songs that were really you. We just kind of don't, I feel like the way we create music is it's ours. So we're not really like trying to control ownership or like, let's make sure we both write lyrics on every song. Sometimes Michael will come up with something and I'm like, I like that. Let's go with it. And there's songs that I've written and he's like, I like that. Let's just do it. And there's a couple things that we've worked on together.
Yeah.
But I think that's...
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you know, it's pretty much, you know, we trust each other. You know, I mean, we trust each other, but what I was going to say more about that was that if PIERA is really into something, you know, and I take that into account as, you know, okay, I trust her. There's something there. You know what I'm saying? And if I come up with something that she feels, you know what I mean? I don't know. There's this understanding of each other's strengths. It's kind of complicated to explain what that is, but you know, there's just something that PIERA will do that I'll just go, oh my God, you know, and vice versa. And so it's hard. The collaboration is very fluid, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's hysterical.
There's not really rules.
Right.
It's just like we just, you know, I'll bring a piece of music or lyrics or sometimes an entire song and say, what do you think? Is this worth going with? And he'll be like, yeah. or vice versa. And then there's been the occasional like, let's shelf that one for now. Let's write something new. So, I mean, there's definitely a process that goes on, and we trust each other, like our professional instincts, but
we also trust each other. If I come up with something with her and she goes, I don't know about that, there's no argument. You know, why wouldn't she like that? She likes what I do. If she doesn't like that, maybe I missed it. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
You know, I can miss it. You know? So that's I think helps. You know,
it's funny because that's sort of the true definition of a great team. You know, like you just fill in where the other person can't do it, or if they need it, you're there. If they don't, you're not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
The interesting thing is that there's no. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the last thing you want to do is put something out that you know your partner doesn't have full faith or confidence in. So if either one of us give it the like no way, like we just drop it. It's not worth like fighting to save something. It's like, oh, if there's something about this that you don't like, we're not even going to take it like 5 seconds further. Yeah,
because the piece of music is a tremendous amount of time and energy, and so
investment,
you really want the agreement between each other to feel excited and enthusiastic from the beginning. From
day one. Yeah.
If that can't happen, if that doesn't happen, it's not worth it. It's not worth it
because it'll be a struggle.
Yeah, and it's probably right that it shouldn't be done.
Yeah, the interesting thing is you can't tell. There's like it seems like there's a. What can I say? The songs have a thread through them enough that you can't. You know what I mean? It doesn't take you out of a thing where you're like, what's this guy? You know what I mean? So obviously you're both working towards one sound and being able to deliver that as clearly as possible, which is really the only way to get things done.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was very much of like, you know, like a whole bunch of different colors, you know what I mean? Right. You know, where, you know, we hit, you know, like say, you know, Unraveling was, you know, that kind of a thing. And then we go to, you know, Cosmic Reaction was that kind of, so it felt very not like one piece, but just like a whole bunch of pieces that work together. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like other people don't know, are not so like microscopically aware of everything going on. And they just sort of see it as one, you know, right. I mean, I've noticed, you know.
I think for me, I kind of look at it like more like almost cinematically or like, almost like theater-esque. Like I definitely see like a big story, and these are like the little interconnected, I don't know, like moods or elements. But to me, like the whole record is a sound world, like a palette, like you're saying. So I kind of like that the palette is there, but then like, you know, you just kind of tiptoe over here. You're a little sad here, a little happy here. And there's like, what's going on over here? I don't know.
I have the privilege of having a wiggle room because PIERA's voice will tie everything together.
That's true.
If I switch, even if I switch like kind of styles in from where I'm coming from, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
can still know that PIERA's vocals will put that right where it belongs. It's almost like PIERA in a different movie. You know what I mean?
Right. I love your voice, PIERA. It's good. I'm a huge fan. Like all my favorite singers are women, like from Edith Piaf to like Edie Gourmet to like, you know, Barbara Streisand.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm not joking. Huge compliment.
I mean, I may not go, oh man, I'm really in the mood for Barbara Streisand today. But when I listen to Barbara Streisand, I mean, if you can't deny,
she's amazing.
I mean, you can't deny what's going on there.
Yeah.
You know?
She's definitely an icon.
Well, and even Patti Smith, like, you know, seeing a woman deliver in like a Chrissy Hind or something, like with no holds barred, no rules against her for her gender. You know what I mean?
I mean, Because the Night could not have been made cool by anybody else.
No.
Only she could make that song cool.
Yeah.
And she, you know, in my opinion.
It is cool.
Didn't Natalie Merchant or something do a version of that? Anyway, Okay, so PIERA, so you had your first bands in junior high?
Yeah.
What were you doing? What did you play? What did you sing? What kind of music were you doing?
I actually played electric guitar.
Right on.
And I had I remember my Sunburst, what was it? It wasn't a Strat, but it was Fernandez.
Oh, Fernandez.
No, it was
it was baby.
Fernandez. My parents got it to me for Christmas. And, I was just always hanging out with musicians, and I could sing and I would sing. But it was just like, this girl can play, and she's, let's show up. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just, for me, it was just a fun activity. It wasn't, I didn't take it seriously. It was just like, hey, my friends, we're getting together. We're going to do, rehearsal. We're going to go play a little show. And it's like, little teenagers, and parents are like, good, this is, productive. You're not
on the streets.
Yeah. You're not, I know where you are and what you're doing, and it's all positive. So, I played piano. I'm pretty much a self-taught musician. I took a few lessons, but, I play piano, I play guitar. I don't know if I play them, by the book, but I just kept playing and just found it really fun,
Yeah.
So, and I was definitely a tomboy, because not a tomboy like the way I dressed, but in the sense that I was the girl that hung out more with guys than with girls. And so it just was fun for me to do something and not have to be in all that little high school and middle school girl drama.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally know what you mean. So I'm trying to figure out, so were you just born with the ability, were you were born with the ability to sing, and that's how you got that gig when you were 7, and then you got in this band because you just had a proclivity to music?
Yeah, I think I didn't really think about it. I just, would sing songs, would write poetry, anytime there was a piano or guitar, I just was drawn to it. I wanted to play. There wasn't really any musicians in my family. The first guitar I played was my dad's, but he never really got into it. So it was laying around all the time, and I would just pick it up. And I love music. I really, for me, it's been very... And especially for somebody who's self-taught. So what that means to me is I wasn't really good at taking lessons and reading music and playing other people's things. I'd sit down and start playing notes, and it would make me feel good.
Yeah.
I don't know, just the sounds, the tones, the arrangements, whatever I was doing. And even as a kid, I would write songs.
Right.
But I knew nothing about song structure or anything. I would just sit down and play. I go, I like that. It would make me feel good. And I would do it for hours.
Yeah.
And I'd take my dad's guitar and go in my bedroom, and it would be hours. And so it was sort of just a relationship I have with that realm that just was so deeply satisfying. And I never really thought of myself as a professional anything until much later, because I didn't know anybody like me,
Yeah.
Everybody was just had other interests. So I just figured it was a hobby.
Yeah. I mean, did your parents did you go to college for something, or did they go hey, PIERA, come on, man?
Oh, you mean with music or just in general? Yeah. With life. Yeah. Go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I ended up going to, a private international school in Switzerland, believe it or not. And I studied digital communications and did graphics and video editing. And it wasn't a big school. It was more like a trade school, but, and cause I don't know, I love being on computers, and I can design stuff pretty well too. So, but
there was still some kind of artistic.
I came back to I want to just do music.
Right.
It came back to that for me. So,
yeah.
And I'm really, to be honest with you, I think it's the best decision I ever made. And I know it's a hard decision to make, because music is probably the least viable business for the average person in the world. And, it's probably, you know, the wrong thing for most people, but for me, it's the thing that actually gives me fulfillment and joy, and brought Micah into my life and music. And so I'm really grateful for music. And
Oh my God.
Me too.
it's just kind of amazing.
It's my whole life. I mean, it's been my whole life since I'm pretty much the same person since I was 12.
Yeah. I'm the exact
Yeah.
same person since I was 14 or 13.
Yeah, that's how I say that.
Same guy.
14.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
I'm the same guy. Maybe I know a little bit more about life than then, hopefully.
Micah, I got to say, for some reason I have a feel, you said you were a nice Jewish boy.
Yeah.
And your parents worried about you, didn't they?
No, my parents were secular. My dad was in the news business. My mom was
Right.
Housewife?
a housewife with very, very anxious, kind of, just a typical Jewish mother. I mean, you know the type. And did they worry about me? There was a point when they had a lot of reasons to worry about me. Actually, when I was a teenager, when they took me to, what happened was I left New York City and went to Santa Monica. So I was in private schools, really being a good boy in New York City.
Right.
And then when they cut me loose in Santa Monica and Venice with all the dogtown skateboarders and everybody.
Yeah.
There is reasons for concern.
Yeah.
But before that, not really, no.
Were you exposed to like your dad's work when you were a kid? Like, were you pretty cognizant of what's that?
Well, very intensely. I mean, one of the things that kind of linked me in with him on a lot of levels was the fact that I was a pretty big tennis player for my age. I was kind of ranked and everything like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was taking me around to all his big shots. And I mean, big shots. I mean, I played at the White House. I played with the Kennedys. I mean, it was
No shit. That's awesome.
Yeah. Because I was, better than them. And, I mean, at tennis, I mean, we were just talking about tennis here,
I'm sure you're better at music than them too.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, music took away tennis. Once I picked up a guitar, I was really into Dylan. Once I heard Bob Dylan and probably Jimi Hendrix, I said, this is my life.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything more than this, forever.
Yeah. I mean, did music come easy to you in any way, or was it?
It actually really did. I mean, I self-taught acoustic guitar. I did my first gig in a year at a coffee shop after playing a year, writing songs. And, it just was really natural. And I think a lot of that comes from just how badly I wanted to do it. So I would just sit there till I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Switching chords till like it, didn't mess them up. I think desire has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, totally. I had way more desire than natural talent. It took me, like, I was doing things before I should have been doing them.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I was very specific. I was more about songwriting than being a shredder. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I liked writing lyrics and songs, and that was my thing.
I was one of those kids that came into it because I was 13 years old, and you're going through puberty and you feel like you're weird and all that stuff. And then I saw Cheap Trick and I was like, oh, that's how you get chicks. And just from that day on, I was like, I'm a fucking musician. This is my life.
That's the truth underneath the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up a guitar because I noticed girls liked me when I did that, And the only time I actually knew I was, and the only time I really actually knew that I thought I was a real musician, to some degree, is because basically your drummer was anybody who had a drum kit in a band.
Yeah.
You didn't know if he played drums, and you didn't care. But I remember one time looking at my drummer going, "What the hell are you doing?" And then I thought. And everybody else looked at me going, why make waves? And I thought, I can't play with this. And I think that kind of led me to believe that I needed a rhythmical environment to do what I do. And I think that sort of made me think, this is more than just, getting chicks.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very close to a shitload of female musicians, and their story is always different. Like either guys are creepy, and they're usually guys on the business end of it. And from what I understand, from most of them, and from having conversations like this, is that really the most supportive male people in their lives were their fellow musicians that were like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, you can do it. And then there's like a creepy, sleazy kind of music business vibe.
Oh yeah.
PIERA, I have to, you must have experienced some kind of like, come on, dude. Like where someone says something or you get a vibe, you know what I mean? Like some kind of shit like that.
I just think that's guys. I mean, I don't put that in the music category. I just go, that's just guys. That's the male species. I love guys, and they're like my best of friends, actually. But I think when people are creepy, it's not so much a music thing. I just think it's like, this is the world we live in. And when you're, and when somebody thinks they have something called leverage,
yeah,
they will exercise their leverage to the extent that they feel they can. And whether that is like being a little bit creepy, I mean, it's...
Hey, there's been harassment for women.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
In this area. There's been harassment to me when I was young. I mean, my God. I mean, it's
both sides.
Every young, person is going to be dealing with a lot of uncomfortable situations, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I really think it's like, everybody's different, obviously, but, everybody has their own experience based on their personality. Like for me, like I won't put up with anything weird for like 5 seconds, but some people don't feel that they can be that strong or bold, or,
Right.
I like shut it down without even trying. I don't even get in those situations. It's kind of weird, but, some people do, and they feel very powerless.
Well, I think when you're a guy and somebody reveals what's really going on about their intentions, it's a little bit more like, oh, I had no idea.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's a little bit more like, really?
Right.
Like that's disappointing.
Yeah.
It's not like more like, oh, I saw that coming from the moment I met. You know what I mean?
Right.
And hey, I'm from New York City. Nothing phases me. But lying does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lying does, and any kind of what we're dealing with here in the Me Too movement and all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's all another level.
That's a whole nother level. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never dealt with it like that. But
so when you guys put this album out, it was 2019. Were you guys doing shows and
yeah, we did a couple shows and we were really excited and getting ready to go. And then,
we got pandemicked.
The world changed, and we were just kind of figuring out and getting ready to go.
Yeah. I mean, we had festivals booked. We had a nice series of booking from our first 2 shows because people really liked us. And then
where were those shows?
Actually, we did one. So there was this one place in Topanga. We did like
Topanga Canyon. We did the Topanga Canyon Music Festival.
Oh, awesome.
Actually, Colin Hay performed. If you know who that is.
I know him.
Who was the other?
Actually.
Yeah. Who's the other?
I went to his house there once.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
They were great.
Yeah.
By the way, they were like, okay.
What was that other band though? It starts with a Z. Come on.
Z.
Zebra?
Anyway. Sorry.
Zeke Zappa? Was that? No. What? Dweezil maybe?
No, it was a big one. I just can't remember. It's so sad. I'm like the worst.
That guy's a great songwriter, huh?
It was really fun. Oh, what?
Sorry. Go ahead. I was just.
It was that was fun. And then what happened was, we got a booking agent, and we were like set up for about 4 or 5 shows, and then like so fast everything got shut down in California.
Yeah.
And we were it took a while for us to figure out. It was painful. I mean, it was like, what do we do? And it took us a while to figure out that we could live stream and we could, reach out. And but it took a while to just, because I'm just so used to the classic play, fill a room, go to a bigger room.
Yeah.
It's so natural. There's no internet. There was no, it was just, can you fill this place?
Yeah.
Or how much? And to think of all the opportunities that are now on the internet for exposure, I really didn't know that much about, because even with us, it was going that direction of just playing out and people liking it. So it's been kind of a really big learning experience about that whole reaching out through people through different vehicles.
But on a good note, we have a live stream. Actually, it's making me think about it. We have a live stream at the end of the month on the 28th, March 28th, and it's going to be on Twitch. So first time on Twitch, but that's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
And we're streaming from a really cool warehouse down here in downtown LA. We kind of are turning it into our own little live stream studio.
Awesome.
And looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
I think we're just going to keep doing live streams and, on different platforms and just having fun with it until the world really opens up, because what else can you do?
We're getting closer. I mean, we're making
more music. That's true.
And we're going to be releasing a new song in hopefully a month or something like that.
That's great.
Throw that down the pipe. I think that's going to be a really great song. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a big one.
So we're basically working on our next, what I would think, EP.
Right.
As we're speaking, and that's what's kind of going on. And then hopefully be booking as soon as things are allowed.
What's it like over there in Texas?
Oh, dude, the last gig I played in front of people that were in the same room as me was March 13th, 2020, and then everything closed down on the 14th.
It was like the last day.
That was the last gig. And then the first gig back in front of people, and it's a long story, but we had to do it because we got a deposit, and during the slow time of 2020, we paid ourselves these people's deposit, and then they're like, hey, we're going to get married in this thing. And everyone was like, well, we don't know if we want to play it. And they're like, well, we want our money back. And we were like, okay, what time do we have to be there? So we played this show, and I'm a little freaked out. We're in Texas. This is a red fucking state where the governor just last Wednesday said no masks required anywhere. Luckily, Austin, where I live, is the blueberry and the tomato soup, which is what politicians call it. They found a way in our county to make the mask mandate, and we're being sued. Like, the county's being sued by the attorney general of the state, and it's a whole scene. But they found a way to do it through the health department, where the health department can declare for a county, and it supersedes the state.
Gotcha.
God, politics.
So is music happening? Like,
yes.
Starting to happen?
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, places all open. There's people just running around, licking doorknobs, doing whatever they want now. It's weird. It was so weird, you guys playing that show. It was so weird looking at a room full of people, nobody wearing masks, just walking up to each other, kissing each other on the cheek. You're just like, guys, I was wearing my mask the whole time except for when I sang.
That's amazing. I know it's kind of weird because even when you see commercials on TV or movies, it's just weird to see people without masks. Because it's like, what? We're just so used to it. It's so weird, you know.
I hear it.
But I can't wait until, maskless is normal again. But you just want to be safe, and everybody's health is the most important thing.
Yeah.
But I do miss that human connection. I do miss seeing people's smiles and just the whole. And people not being afraid to be close, we live in a building with elevators, and there's really strict rules, and all that stuff.
Can I ask you guys a weird social question? And I know that it's a long shot. Do you guys know my friend David Garza?
Who's it?
It's this guy David Garza, but he lives in downtown LA. Him and my friend Samara are married. They used to live here, and me and him are really old friends from like the late '80s. But he lives there. He He like co-produced and played on that new Fiona Apple album, and he's like part of that whole Largo scene. I don't know if you guys participate in that.
John, what's his name?
With John Bryan, yeah, and all the gang there.
Wow,
That's cool. I don't know him, but
I don't know him
that
exactly.
sounds
That sounds
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
Cool friends.
Maybe you'll run into each other on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I love Fiona.
He's one of the loveliest human beings that I know. I'm not very, like, I don't know what kind of a scene you guys are in there. And I know when I've been there, there was a group of people that took me in and they were really cool. And then there was kind of like, you know, no offense, but LA people, you know what I mean? Like, who are you? And then you start saying who you are and they're like, fine, like this guy is not important enough to talk to. And then they walk away and that's weird.
Offense taken. I know that world. Like,
It's one of the weird things about LA for people who don't live here is they just come for the sunshine and the beach and go on vacation, but they don't really know, like, I
mean, the art scene with all its craziness and stuff like that, you know, this just feels more like a real community to me, you know?
Yeah, there's both this, like, LA can be the most accepting place for all kinds of people and the most embracing, like the most liberal and the most like freedom and creativity and all of that. But people are also very niche-y and closed and groupy and like it's kind of interesting. But I tend to be like really mixed well with people from all over the place, you know?
It's good.
I'm not so much part of this clickiness.
Yeah,
I'm really just
I'm
like
not cliquey. I just prefer.
I just like cool people, but you know, they don't have to be like in quotes cool.
Right. Like
cool
people, soulful people.
I just like people who are cool. You know what I mean? Just they don't even have to look cool or be cool.
Right.
I like people. People who are just honest.
Man,
you know?
And
honest and interesting. I mean, but they're hiding nothing.
Yeah.
They're just themselves. I mean, that's all I ask. Just, you know, and those are the kind of people I really like. And if they're doing the same thing I'm doing, then there's a relationship that can happen, you know, if we're actually doing the same kind of things, you know.
Yeah.
You know, but.
Let me ask you a question about this video unraveling because I feel like I might get in trouble with somebody if I don't bring up the thing that they asked me to talk about. It's been such a pleasure talking to you guys. Like, you're fantastic. I wish you were my neighbors. I think you guys are cool as shit.
It's fun. I'm just like, we're in the zone.
Well, we're not done yet, but I just wanted to tell you that I like you guys. Will you be my friends?
Let's be friends.
Let's be friends.
We got it. So, unraveling the video, who did that? Like, who directed it? I figured that.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to do something in black and white and something very like futuristic, kind of neo-futuristic and modern. And I'm really attracted to stripping away elements to focus on main themes. So for the video, I really wanted to show like, just to accent what the song is about. It's about a broken relationship, feeling alienated, lonely, disappointed. And I wanted to go into a really cool modern space that's kind of like futuristic and just have it be humans and music equipment and the song itself. And I didn't want anything flashy, special effects. I didn't want to just do anything campy. I just really wanted it to be like, you could just really feel the heart of the song. And so, we put together a great team. Obviously, I didn't like shoot the video, but we really found some very talented people. I worked with this photographer who also shoots film, and he's like amazing and exquisite with black and white, especially.
Cameron Dunbar was his name.
Yeah, Cameron Dunbar did the shooting, and then he brought his team. And his
team is great. Yeah. And
then my creative director is like a really good friend. We've worked together on other small projects and photo shoots and stuff. And that's Adrian Arredondo. And I just think that anytime he's a part of anything, it takes it to the next level. So definitely couldn't have even found that space without him.
Yeah, I mean, he was the one, because we had another space, but the lighting was bad. And then he said, well, I just did a shoot, because he's also a stylist. And he does so many things. I can't.
He's in production a lot. He recommended that space, and when I saw it, I was like, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
It's where they did the Dark Knight.
Shit.
It's where it was the parking space for the Dark Knight in some scenes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just it's light, it's space. There's a big void in lots of it, but it's kind of cool and weird. Fun.
At the beginning of the video, at the beginning of our conversation, when I couldn't hear you guys and I saw where you were, I was like, oh yeah, she must have directed that video. It just you have an aesthetic, you know what I mean? Like there's an aesthetic to what you, like your music and what it looks like and obviously how you live.
Yeah, I mean, I think, this is not like, it's interesting. There's just an internal world that you want to bring to the outside. And, it just comes about in different ways.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, when it comes to visuals,
I'm super.
PIERA,
my grandfather was an architect. Let me just say that.
I just follow her lead on things. I mean, probably if it was up to me, I'd probably have stuff that looks like jacuzzi meets something like, some really crazy out there stuff. But I don't have that kind of drive for that kind of thing. And PIERA is just
I'm obsessed with creating worlds.
So good
like visually, like music. I was going to show you, I have a book here. I know this is podcast, but we're here talking on Zoom. I'm going to put this book I have. It's Zaha Hadid, and incredible architect that does neo-futuristic designs. Unfortunately, she passed recently in the last few years, but her design firm is going strong. And, anything that's just really, I don't know, futuristic and forward thinking. I'm kind of obsessed with creating new worlds and, like imagining what could be, not focusing on what is, but like, what could you imagine, the world to be like? Anything that got that childlike dream, breaking boundaries, kind of Star Wars-ish.
All of those sort of like, there is like, it's funny because there's this weird, like, I feel like the 70s defined the future. You know what I mean? Like whatever kind of like Logan's Run and shit like that. Like it all sort of like.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
And that's so weird you say that.
That's one of my favorite
That's one of our favorite movies of all time.
Yeah. So you guys, like if they redid Logan's Run, you guys would definitely do the fucking theme song.
Yes.
I mean, I'd hope so.
Thank you. You got it.
Yeah.
You got You just tied it up with a bow.
I'm telling you, we're meant to be friends. This is great stuff. You guys are incredible artists, and your record is fantastic. Can people find the link to your Twitch live stream on PIERAmusic.net? Or will they be able to?
It will be there. So
Okay.
Right now the Twitch is twitch.tv/PIERAmusicTV.
Okay.
For those that want to go straight to Twitch, and that link will be up there in the next day or two.
Okay.
And for all other things, PIERA Music, PIERAmusic.net is where it's all at. And the video will be released on the 18th, and it'll be on YouTube, but it'll also be, you could go through the portal of the site if you can't find it. Sorry,
there's a sun coming off of someone's car that made me look like I'm slowly fading out of this conversation. All right, so people can find all that stuff at PIERAmusic.net. When you guys do play live, it's just the two of you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes it easy, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
So easy.
I got my modular rig. I got my keyboards. I got my thing, and we just do the record. We do our thing. It's a lot, though. I mean, it's a lot of setup. I will say that.
Yeah.
But we get it done. Yeah.
But it's easier like that. I feel like there's technology has allowed people to be able to move in that direction. And artists like, obviously when we were all young, there's the Milli Vanilli thing that happened where like, oh, wait a minute, someone's using stuff. I mean, obviously they were using vocal tracks, but even like the music tracks, people kind of like frown on. It's not, I personally, there's a certain, like, I don't have as much fun unless it feels like everything can fall apart at any second. And like the fact that people can stay glued together while playing live in a situation is kind of like why I love doing it so much. So it's not really my thing, but I think that it's pretty amazing that people are able to, seems like people are able to stick something out longer with just two personalities as opposed to like,
so much easier. I mean, if you know, like all the band conflicts that can happen or people showing up late and like people's own drama. I mean, when it's just like smaller, it's just more contained and easy. I mean, there's a lot more responsibility on each of us. I mean, Micah's got a ton of gear and a ton of stuff that he's doing, and I'm singing, and you know, we're kind of doing our thing like that.
Some of it's pre-programmed, so I don't have to worry about every little thing.
Well, there's like 150 tracks, so you can't. There's no way you could perform live absolutely everything.
So a lot of things are set up, and the only anxiety is like, oh God, I hope this laptop's okay. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
There's a lot of components.
There's a lot of components, or this clock is where everything's working right.
Things are syncing appropriately.
So you need a little time to run through it. But no, I love it. I love perform. I think I love live performance more than anything. Yeah. I do love discovering sounds in studios. But other than that, live performance is such a high for me.
Yeah. Well, man, as I said, it's been such a pleasure meeting you guys and stuff. Is there anything I'm missing before we go? Is there anything I've left out?
I don't know. Is there anything?
Let's see. What do we got? We're coming out with an EP. We're got Unravelings coming out soon.
When is the EP coming out?
Well, we're trying to get it done, probably hopefully by the end of the summer, or something like that.
Okay.
We're going to release singles first, we're going to do that and then push that and then, package it up after we do it.
Right.
Just depends on how fast I can go, really.
Right.
I think she did a scratch vocal the other day on it, and that might be the vocal.
I love it when that happens. Well, judging by the history, by your musical history, it seems like you're probably right.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be, because especially when there's no pressure and you're just having fun, you're like, oh yeah, that was a great take.
It was a great take.
It was actually.
Yeah. Before we go, what I always hated in studios and big studios and singing is being alone out there and all the people in the room behind the glass and sort of watching them have the conversation after you do a take before they push the talk back button. You know what I mean? They're making faces. I don't know.
You're wondering what they're saying.
What did I do? Yeah. I still get anxiety thinking about that.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
They're sitting there, and you just did a take of the song, and they're looking at each other like, that fucking sucked.
Yeah, and their mouths are moving. Yeah.
Their mouth's moving, and you're going, oh, thanks, And they're like, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
Can we run that one more time?
Micah, that was really good. I think something fucked up on my end, though, if you don't mind doing it again. Yeah. Well, guys, it was really great meeting you. Everyone can get out and find you guys at PIERAmusic.net. Your self-titled album is available now wherever it is you stream and download your jams. And the video for Unraveling you can find at PIERAmusic.net. And you can go there to find out more about the Twitch live stream on March 28th. And I'm going to check out Zaha Hadid. I've been taking notes this whole time.
Oh, awesome.
You'll love it.
You're gonna love her.
Good.
Yeah, and also I'm just gonna add James Turrell. He's an artist and he works with forms of light, and that's Turrell. Epic. So these two worlds, Zaha Hadid, James Turrell, you're gonna love. Okay, for sure.
Well,
and everybody listening needs to know about it too, because this is inspired stuff.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Zaha Hadid is
next level.
It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's the architecture is.
It's the architecture of Mars.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah. Well, thank you guys again for doing the show.
Thank you
for
meeting
you.
This was fun.
Really fun time.
Yeah, me
too. Look us up when you're in LA.
Yeah, when you're in LA.
Yeah. Please. Likewise, if you ever come to Austin, we can do another one of these in person.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I might see you tomorrow.
All right.
No,
All right, man. Wasn't that good? I love talking to them. What fantastic people, amazingly talented with such cool style. They're my idols. That's what I think. PIERA, check out their self-titled debut album now. Available wherever it is you stream and download your music. Go to PIERAmusic.net for all of your PIERA needs. And also, gang, don't forget when you're out there checking out PIERAmusic.net, you can subscribe to this podcast wherever it is you find podcasts, be it Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, any of the places. New shows all the time. 3 shows this week, 3 shows next week. And when we get into April, we're going back to the 2-show-a-week format. All right? I hope you enjoyed talking to PIERA. This is the rest of their song, Unraveling. Check out the video for it. It's absolutely fantastic. Go to PIERAmusic.net for all of your PIERA music needs. And have a great rest of the week. Talk to you on Friday. Let's get down.